Is Christmas cancelled? The incorrect use of tests and the CoronaPolice. This is your TLDR News daily briefing for Wednesday, September 9th. Today's daily briefing is going to be a little bit of a UK special, so I do apologise to those of you who wanted a more international daily briefing today. It's just because so much has happened in the realm of UK coronavirus news today that it feels wrong not to discuss it all. The first of these big COVID-19 stories is the news that the Prime Minister seems to have let slip a government plan to get the country back to normal. Okay, maybe not a plan, but certainly a situation Johnson wants to aim for. During Prime Minister's questions today, Prime Minister Johnson stated that he wanted people to take an antigen test every morning, which would then be able to tell a user whether they are infectious or not. In the Downing Street briefing today, Johnson elaborated on this, stating that this would effectively mean people would have something similar to a passport, which would demonstrate that they're able to interact with others who are in the same position in a similar way to before the nightmare that is the coronavirus pandemic. It was stated that tests will begin next month to see whether this could be effective nationally. If it is shown that it can be effective nationally, this could be a solution that allows us to celebrate Christmas in a more normal way and stop the press asking, is Christmas cancelled? Which is really starting to bug me at the minute. On the topic of tests, the second story today is about the way in which the current coronavirus tests are being used. If you've frequented a news website in the last few days, you'll have noticed that some people are being sent, frankly, ridiculous distances to get tested. Although the leader of the opposition, Sir Keir Starmer, has pushed Johnson to explain why this is the case in Prime Minister's questions today, the government is keen to explain this issue away by stating that some people are simply using the tests incorrectly. This was pushed by Health Secretary Matt Hancock earlier today and again by the Prime Minister at the press briefing. The point the government is making is that some people are getting tests when they do not have symptoms, just to make sure that they don't have the virus, for example on return from holidays. This is something that, from the government's point of view, is an incorrect use of the test and a large reason why there is currently a shortage. Mr Hancock even pointed out earlier today that a whole year group at school was sent to get the test, which was another misuse of the testing system. In the final news story of today's briefing, Johnson has again adjusted the rules that those in England must follow. He has stated that this particular rule change is aiming to simplify the rules, as police officers have found the previous rules difficult to enforce. Among the changes is the rule of 6, which is undoubtedly the big one. This means that both indoors and outdoors there should be no more than 6 people meeting, except for in very limited and specific circumstances. In addition to this, Johnson has introduced coronavirus marshals, whose job it is to enforce social distancing in city centres. This is on top of the fact that police now have the power to enforce the rule of 6. There is now not only no excuse, but both legal backing and enforcement to follow the rules set out by government. For those of you who think the news is too long, be sure to check out tomorrow's daily briefing. Read the newsletter by signing up at tldrnews.co.uk/daily. Listen to the briefing by searching for TLDR News in your podcast app, or watch the briefing at youtube.com/TLDR Daily.
The Daily Briefing is a TLDR News podcast brought to you by 326 Limited. It was written and recorded by Ben Blissett, production assistance comes from Jack Kelly, and the executive producer of The Daily Briefing is Jack Kelly. Learn more about TLDR News at tldrnews.co.uk or by searching for TLDR on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram or Facebook.